right, well, welcome everybody. This is Randy Shrum, and I'm actually today traveling the country again, and I'm in Salt Lake City. But I wanted to do this interview today with Tim here, and I want to introduce you to Tim in just a moment. But today is going to be talking about joint ventures as the main conversation. Now, me and Tim, we've been working together for almost a year now, and but before that, I'll have Tim tell his story. But we're going to talk about just the whole topic of joint ventures today, and how you can leverage that. And Tim has a unique background and a unique story. So, Tim, thanks for being with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Randy.
Well, Tim, why don't you go ahead and just give our readers a little bit about your background and how this all started for you about a year ago?
Well, yeah, Randy. I came from a background working in the corporate world for 15 years or so, and uh, working from marketing into sales in a variety of different areas, and got caught up in the dot-com implosion and all the different layoffs and company closings, things like that. And finally, set out and realized that I find my own, develop my own businesses and my own ways to develop income going forward. And started getting involved in internet marketing. We've done a lot of that, helping other people do internet marketing as well, and also kind of really worked into helping local business people finding different ways to market their products and services. I publish a magazine in my local area right here. Everything from the very local to the very nationwide and worldwide, essentially, really.
So you're very much an entrepreneur at your core. Then you really are a self starter.
Yeah, it's all about multiple streams of income too, and
Yes.
the neat thing you find is that they all kind of intermix with each other, and they have strong relationships with each other, so they work well together. But when you can start developing income streams from all different areas, it's a pretty neat thing, because you're not just relying on all your eggs in one basket. You really have everything kind of diversified, and if one thing is down, maybe another thing's up. Everything works out pretty well.
Back in 1999, I read that book, Multiple Streams of Income. Did you get to read that too?
Oh yeah, and that was kind of that, and some of Robert Kiyosaki's books, kind of led us on this journey to where we are, right now.
Now, speaking of multiple streams, do you believe that's one of the key aspects of building long-term wealth is creating multiple assets out there spitting off cash to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely, because that's really the key. Like I said before, if you have all your eggs in one basket, it's just like investing. They say don't put all your investments into one area, one stock, or so on. It's the same exact thing here. And when you have multiple things doing well, you can be doing incredible. But even if a couple of them are down and the other ones are up, you're still doing you're doing great as well. So it's kind of a neat way to kind of keep yourself going in a number of different areas as well. And really, as you start to do that, as I mentioned before, you start to see the synergies between all the different ones, and that's really, I think, that's something that's we've really been able to capitalize on quite a bit.
Tim, before we get a little bit more into your story about the joint ventures, I think one of the things that I want to just highlight to the readers and our subscribers is just the fact that it's work. To build wealth and to generate multiple streams, it's not going to happen overnight. And what I get the sense out of you is that it takes work, and you've been working at it a while, and it takes effort. It's not just something that just happens without really applying yourself. And so, why don't you speak to that for a moment?
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that in many areas, and I think earlier on, as I was getting into these new areas, might not have seen the I guess the persistence to stay with it and stick with it until it does, because so many of these things can take quite a long period of time to develop. But once they develop, they can be incredible opportunities. But you have to give them the time to develop. But sometimes you need to know. I guess you need some guidance, and some coaching, and to find the exact right way to go, because of course you don't want to be doing the wrong things and just keep on doing it. So you got to kind of adjust and make modifications as you go along until you kind of fine tune it and get to the right place.
Right, absolutely. So, about a year ago, we met. We
Yeah. It was,
You started going through one of our programs that we have at our companies, and You went through that program, started learning more about joint ventures. I'm sure you knew a little bit about joint ventures before you went through our program, probably. And but tell everybody what the last year's been like and how you generated one of your joint venture deals, and even kind of give the readers a rundown on what joint ventures are.
Well, yeah, I mean, joint venture is simply finding multiple parties that have, the same interests. Typically you have two sides. You have the people who are the product owners. They have some type of online, it could be online or offline service for that matter. Most people associate with online services and information products, things like that, but it's really quite, um, I wouldn't put the boundaries just there. It's quite a broad area that you can go into of any type of service really, and products. And then you have the people who are, what we would call the list owners, people who have a large reach, a large influence, and can get a message out to a large number of people. And that could be email, but that can be a number of different ways. So some way that they're able to get the message out there. And the one thing we learned too is that it's really there's probably not too many people who are just one or the other. Typically, if they have a product or service, they've been selling it, they've been building up a list. If they have a big list, well, they built it probably from selling some of their own products. The beauty of what the joint venture is that someone has a large influence, maybe because they have a great product that they've sold in the past. Well, they see something that complements that. They can put that message out for another company and generate sales because it is something that's very complementary to what they already do. And so that target audience is likely to be receptive. And the way it simply works is that hey, I'll put it out to my list, and you give me a certain percentage, whatever that number could be. But a small percentage of a large number, as we all know, can be a pretty good number.
Right.
And a lot of these joint ventures aren't just a one-time hit. It's not like just put it out, do a blitz, and make some sales, and great, we made a little bit of money here. But some of these things can be ongoing services, where there's monthly, fees ongoing, and people are constantly, borrowing and getting and using the services so that you can literally develop, residual income that can be coming in on a regular basis without much more, work on your part, which is really, very.
Now,
As a broker,
go ahead.
The difference with the broker is that you don't have to have a product yourself. You don't have to have the email list. The broker is all about going out there, just like a real estate broker. You don't own the properties you sell. You go find properties, you find buyers, you put them together. That's what you do as a broker, and it's really quite a neat thing there because to develop those lists, to develop those products can be quite a bit of work. But if you can find the right two people, match them up together, it can be extremely lucrative and for very little work on your part, except for kind of managing those relationships.
What kind of percentages, when you say lucrative, what kind of percentages are possible?
Oh, I mean, I've seen as high as anywhere. I've seen percentages up to 50%. As a broker, it's typically 10 to 20% is maybe kind of the usual. But
And
again,
and you introduced the parties and got the deal done.
yeah, you can introduce the parties, and maybe a lot of times you'll find that the list owner will actually get the largest percentage. Maybe he'll get 50, 60%. The product owner will take maybe 30%, and you end up getting 10%. But again, now you're getting 10% of these sales of a product you didn't create, a list you didn't create. You really you're getting paid for managing those services, and it's a pretty neat thing.
Now, tell the list owners and product owners that are watching this when they have to actually pay for this type of service.
Oh well, yeah, that's a really neat thing too, because most people say, oh, okay, yeah, what's it going to cost me? When you start talking to them, it's like, well, no, I bring the people together. You don't pay me until you're making money. So when that 50% for the list owners coming in, that 30% for the product owner, the 10, all those things are coming in. Only then is when you actually pay me, when sales are actually made.
So it's really a win-win.
Yeah, it's paid for performance essentially, which I think everybody can appreciate that. Hey, you get results, you get paid on the results.
So we really already hit on three things, and then I want you to share like a case study or a story about one of your deals that you were telling me about just the other day. But So you could be a joint venture broker that has no product, no list, um, not an office, you don't have staff, and you could actually learn this business and start generating joint venture deals and make 10, 20% potentially just by introducing the parties and managing that relationship. That's number one that you've just said. Number two, you said, the list owner, someone who has a customer database or prospect database, could make more money off that list than they ever have because there's other ways to market to that list than just their product. And then number three is that there's product owners out there that are spending money on marketing dollars, and you've just highlighted where they could do joint venture deals and generate more sales. So did I cover it right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of joint ventures is all the different ways that you can monetize your list. You can you can increase your product sales. It's just really like you said before, a win-win for everybody.
How big if you were just guessing, Tim? We didn't talk about this before this interview. How big would you just guesstimate this industry is of joint ventures if you were just to guess it?
Oh wow, I mean, it's millions for
Yep.
sure. It's just it it's it's the kind of thing where there's so much that even a small little piece of the pie can be extremely lucrative because there's just so much going on out there. And a lot of people talk about lists and they're looking for people who have lists of 100,000 plus and they're out there, but even a real good targeted list of 10,000 people can be extremely lucrative.
Right.
And so it's really it's extremely vast. I mean, the sky's really the limit on it.
Well, I think that, I've been doing joint ventures myself for a long time, but, that being said, I think it's just an incredible opportunity for those that are watching this to start leveraging it, to build wealth and to use it for their existing businesses. So for yourself, why don't you tell our audience a little bit of a case study of a deal that keeps paying you month after month?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, um, one of the things before I get into it, just a little bit, just to expand upon what we talked about before, one of the key things I found with this business, and we talked about this a lot, is that you have to really focus in. If you try to cover too many areas,
Oh,
too
that's
many
good.
different types of things, you need to find a focus. And really that occurred to me during this process and started leading to better results because I was trying to do a number of different areas and I really went back to what is it that I've been doing a lot. I've been working with local marketing. I've been working with small businesses, and really I said that's where I need to focus in on. So as I built up a lot of relationships, and that's one of the neat things about this is you develop really great long-term friendships as you're doing and talking to all these people. But I started taking a look at okay, who do I have and what kind of products do I have and really let's start focusing on the small business area and services that are going to help those. And just during my prospecting and a lot of the prospecting I learned was from techniques that you taught me, Randy, very specifically using one of our primary tools is LinkedIn. We had some and we still have incredible results from LinkedIn. Just finding really strong professional people on there. And during this time, I came across two different people. One, an individual does business funding. I guess his tagline is when the banks say no, where do you go? Well, you could turn to someone like him. And he's able to get funding for companies without any personal guarantees, without, having to have, all these trade references and everything else. I mean, he teaches people how to build business credit. But he can literally, if you've been in business for more than a year, the revenues are 100,000 plus, he can almost guarantee get you, funding of anywhere from 25,000 and up to even $250,000 or so. And it's all about cash flow. If a lot of these businesses they need money from time to time to manage the cash flow, and what would they be able to do more if they had that? And that's really what this builds upon. And so obviously that's a need for small businesses all around. I mean, if you talk to small business owners, they're going to definitely be something that they're going to hear and be excited about. But then on the other side of the coin, I was talking to one individual, and he actually had a very interesting program. He had put together a program that he was selling online to teach people how to build business credit. And he was recruiting people not to sell that service, but he was recruiting people to sell that service itself, to package it for the business owners, the people who wanted to learn how to build a credit. So he was already going out there and really recruiting a large number of people that were going to go out and finding people online. So it really made sense. I said, well, what about, having a funding source that you can put in front of those people? And he actually changed his program completely from that point. Instead of focusing as much on teaching people how to build credit and all the different things you need to do that, he focused on, hey, we're getting these people who are looking for business credit. Let's put them in front of the funding solution right away. And the process itself, we were talking about time frame before. This took quite a long time. The process probably started. I met these individuals probably in the almost in the fall of 2012. And we went through a lot of different work together. Immediately I put the two parties together, and there was a strong interest. They hit it off. There was good rapport, and then we started talking about how it could be built. And the person who was building the side to really recruit and find the business people that were looking, he was developing his product at the same time as well. And probably when it fully launched, was probably in the January timeframe of this past year, and really got underway. And since then, it's really started to take off. And the neat thing about this program is depending on how we work it, like in this case where I'm working with other people who have sub people underneath them, I'm getting just 1% of whatever the funded amount is. But when you start looking at loans that are anywhere from $25,000, $50,000, $100,000, well, you start to add it up. And what happened with this is that there was a certain time frame, even once we got started, and people were starting to go out there and attract business people into the system, because it takes time to do all the funding and do all the different things that have to happen, people to say they're ready to do it, and so on and so forth. But probably about 2 months ago, I started getting checks in the mail on a weekly basis. And not just from one person getting funded, but from 5, 6, 10 people. And pretty much consistently on a weekly basis, I'm getting a check of 1% of these people getting funded that I really I don't have no contact with these people. I haven't even heard of their name before, because it's all being done between the two different parties. But now all of a sudden I have an income stream coming in that's based on, we put a lot of hard work in. It took me a long time to find the right people, put the match together, to help, to evolve the program. It didn't just happen as soon as I put them together. But now, we've put together a well-oiled machine that just keeps pumping in more businesses into this company that are looking for funding, and he's processing it. Once we caught up with the lead time to get these things flowing, we're hitting on a weekly basis where people are getting funded, and the beauty of it is that multiple parties are doing great here. The guy who's doing the funding, obviously, that's what his business is all about. So he's doing great, and he absolutely loves it. And he's got a large volume of leads coming in every single month. The individual who brought these other people into the whole program, he's doing well, collectively among everybody, getting even a small percentage. And then the people that he has working with him that are actually going out and finding the business people, they're getting paid for every single deal that they put together. So the thing is just mushroomed and continue to grow from there. And there's no reason why, unless the banks start loosening up their regulations, which I doubt. I don't see any reason why this is going to continue for quite a long period of time.
That's awesome, Tim. I've been sitting here listening, and I don't know. I would encourage our subscribers, because you've given a lot of golden nuggets. Everything from drilling down on your niche and your passion, and really focusing in on what you want to do when you're focused on a joint venture as a joint venture broker. To there's probably mortgage professionals and mortgage brokers here that are watching this, going, "Oh my goodness, I want to hook up with Tim just to ask him some questions about this deal."
Yeah,
I mean,
Randy, one of the interesting things is that one of the greatest resources we found is loan officers at banks, because they have the tough job of telling their long-term clients, these are people they've built relationships, small business people,
right, turning them down.
And they have to say, hey, John, I can't get you that money. They need P&Ls from 5 years and all this other stuff, and you had this one period of time and your credit's not good, and they have to do this all day long and tell people they can't get the funding. Typically, what we found is people who get the funding don't really need it. So it doesn't really
Right.
work.
Why are you at
So
the?
for them, they have a resource now that they can refer people to, and some of them, they don't even want. They're not looking for commission or anything. They just want to be able to have a resource that they know they can steer their good loyal customers to that are going to get results from these people that they can deliver. And it's kind of win-win that way for them as well.
Now, Tim, me and you are working together on another project, but it kind of goes hand in hand with what you're just talking about. Where did the majority of these leads get generated from for you to start doing these deals?
Oh, I would say almost entirely on LinkedIn. Um, and that's one of the things that with Randy, I owe just a wealth of knowledge that you've imparted to myself and a number of others on how to use LinkedIn. I think I came from this typical standpoint. A lot of people came from that. Hey, LinkedIn is great. It's a great place to put your resume, and job hunting. It's probably real good for that. But beyond that, it's like, okay, how you really, what are you going to do to really keep, utilize this, leverage it, and to sell anything? And boy, I couldn't have been wrong, more wrong. But I think that's part of the beauty of it is that you've given us stuff that's really, kind of inside knowledge that nobody else knows. And because of that, we've been able to just leverage it incredibly. And we've made contact with some incredible individuals. We were working with Jay Levinson, Guerrilla Marketing. I think everybody's heard of people like that. You name it, just a ton of people out there that we've met through the process, and just incredible relationships that have led to a number of different types of things. But yeah, just the strategies that one strategy that you gave us in LinkedIn is probably what we use for the majority of that leads in, and we're talking probably literally thousands of people,
Right.
Easily.
And that that kind of goes to say this. We'll close off the interview here in the next few minutes, and we'll tell people a way to get in contact with you. But if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, or a marketer watching this interview, or you're someone who really wants to build wealth, then you really want to join our VIP email list here, and you'll also learn and discover by joining that. You'll learn about our joint venture academy. It's called JV Academy. You'll learn about that. Then also, one of the other things that me and Tim are working on is this LinkedIn program where we actually help business owners grow LinkedIn communities and generate massive email lists. And so if that's something you'd be interested in and start generating results like Tim's been talking about, then I'm going to ask Tim to give his contact information, or Tim, we can just provide it below this video, whatever you would like us to do, and then they can follow up with you that way.
Yeah, maybe we could post it below here. And,
okay.
Anybody can reach me on Skype at JV Engine.
Okay.
And then my email is tim@localmarketengine. And so anybody can reach me at either of those two ways, JV Engine on Skype or tim@localmarketengine.com. And I'd love to work with people. Like we said, there's a lot of different ways that we can probably help, and love to talk with and make some new friendships as well.
Absolutely. And I will just say this, Tim, as we close off the interview, we have the program called JV Academy, and Tim is actually our lead coach for that program now. And so if that's something that you learn about after you are part of our VIP list and you learn about that, the great thing is that the very person that you'll be working with on a continual basis is going to be Tim. He's our main coach, and the reason why is because of just the deals that he was just talking about. So with that all being said, Tim has just given a wealth of information here today on just various things that'll help you build your wealth. And so you want to continue to get these type of actual interviews. Just enter your information to the right, and you're going to be able to join that list, and it's completely free. But I'll put Tim's information. His Skype again is JV Engine, and your email again is tim@localmarketingengine.com.
Local Market Engine.
Market Engine. Okay, well, I'll put that below this video, Tim. And Tim, I really appreciate you taking the time to share this information with everybody. And this has been more of an
Same
off the
here,
cuff
man.
interview, but that's the way
Yeah,
we
I
want to do
really
these.
enjoyed it.
So, well, thanks a lot.